Okay, so this is gonna be my first long form video for this channel, and I'm pretty nervous, but I'm gonna get ready. So what I got here is Elf. It's a lip gloss. I like to have my lips like a little bit like, you know, with like some tint to it. And let's see. The name of it is like Jam Session. I'm not sure if you can see that. Sorry about the lighting. And then I'm also gonna curl my lashes. And this is Maybelline New York Last Sensational. I like to get the darkest one because like I already got like thin little lashes and my hair is naturally brown, so I like to add some contrast here. And then I got the Elf, and this is like eyebrow drill. So like I like to shape my eyebrows, even if I know like they look perfectly shaped. Like I just like to keep them in place, so that way they can look like they're on fleek. Like I don't do my eyebrows, but at least I like to like brush them so that way they have a direction. So, and then right here I have like a mirror, and yeah, and if you're new here, hey, hello, my name is Luce. I do have like another channel, and it has a lot to do with like spiritual work. But at the end of the day, like I am a human being. I am my own person outside of that, and as I've been like doing the inner work and like healing within my own self, slowly but surely, it's not gonna be like an instant like change. I've came to like the realization of like I want people to know me for me and not for like what I do, like out of like, you know, performance or any of that stuff. It's kind of like a disservice. Like I want y'all to see me. Like I am who I am, and this is what I do. And it might not be perfect at first or at all ever, but at the same time, it's like this is who I am. And I used to do like little videos like on Snapchat. And I deleted Snapchat because I feel like when it comes to like Snapchat, it just feels like I'm being performative. Like I'm doing it just like so people can watch me. And but I never posted them. But whenever it came to like, you know, posting on stories and stuff like that, that's how it felt. And I was just like, I'm not here for anybody's validation. But at the same time, it's like there's like a in-between balance when it comes to like self-expression and suppression. And I've noticed that I have been suppressing myself when it comes to like my self-expression. And it's nobody's fault like on that one. It's just like the way that I was raised. And you know, it has played out in my adult life, and it's been very like challenging because like I tend to overthink or want to like be like a perfectionist, but at the end of the day, like nobody's freaking perfect. Like there's people like out there that go on being like probably the worst human beings, and they don't care. They don't care how people see them or what people think of them. Like they just keep on going with their life. And for me, it's just like I give a shit. And it's like to a fault, but that's because like I'm working with my self-identity. And I think in astrology, I think that's whenever like you're 24. Whenever you end up like working with your sense of self, like self-esteem, like your values, like you know, like your foundation and your structure. And that's like in the second house. And if you don't know about astrology, like at some point I do want to like teach. But the second house rules about finances, self-values, resources, like how resourceful are you as a person. And for me, it was just like, I got stripped away from that. I really did. Like, I wasn't given like that many resources. Like, it wasn't until like I moved out that I was able to like start like figuring it out about like resources, like different methods of like, you know, making money, like income, like different mentalities, different like belief systems. Cause like one thing for sure when it comes to like my birth chart, it talks about like, you know, breaking free from dogmatic like belief systems. Let's see. It's like those like little end hairs that I'm just like wanting to make sure. Sometimes I think about like doing like a eyebrow tint, because I'm like they look kind of invisible right now because of the lighting, but it's like I do got eyebrows. I do have eyebrows. Let's see. Let's fix the other eyebrow. And sometimes like I really just like silence. So like if I'm just quiet in between, just I'm very focused. And I just like finished eating breakfast. Honestly, it's either my body doesn't like chicken anymore, or it was just too early to like consume meat. Because after I consumed like a few pieces of chicken, my stomach was like, question marks. And people were right about like drinking tea in the morning because it helps with your digestion. I didn't know that I was like messing up my digestion, to be honest. Okay, I think that's it. I'm just like, and if I'm like whispering, it's me working on my confidence. So again, these are like the first videos. I'm still working on my confidence. But a few things that I will say that I've been working on is a lot of introspection, like reflecting. And I am very good at pattern recognition. So like when it comes to like pattern recognition, like I'm always like constantly like asking questions and asking myself like, where does this like originate from? And I think like that's what like therapists do. Like, you know, they ask you these questions so that way they can pinpoint like where, you know, the original source of this behavior or this habit started from. And that's what I've been on. Because personally, like, I don't want to be in a timeline or in a reality where it's like I'm in survival, or I am like, oh shit, like I had like the rest of my life to like do this and that. And because like I let fear or I let insecurity or my pride get in the way, like I didn't pursue what I wanted to pursue. And it's like, what the hell? You know? And there's been many times where like I literally like sometimes like allow myself to get influenced by people and take me away from my goals. Like seriously, like I had people in my life like steer me away, but it's like I'm not blaming them because I also like was at fault for like allowing myself to like, you know, be left astray. Let's see. Gotta make sure these little. You know what I remember now? I forgot to like have freaking Q-tips. I like to have Q-tips at hand because like, you know, whenever like the mascara like it's like in the back of your lid, I'm just like, bro, I forgot. Let me just do this. Oh yeah. So back again with like the whole reflection part. Personally, I just don't want to be like anybody that I've like experienced. I've learned through them, and also with the way that I was raised. I didn't realize that the way that I was raised was just like toxic in its own way. Like, yeah, people try their best, like, you know, your parents didn't know any better, like give your parents like grace, but it's like, yeah, I did that for a while, but then it starts to become like questionable where it's like my relationships seem to be shit. I'm starting to feel like shit. I feel like I have no sense of direction or like where I should be investing my time in, and it just started to bring like this insecurity in me, and I'm just like, what is going on? And you know, I did have a like a direction. I wanted to like pursue, what's it called, the animal field, because I wanted to be like at first I wanted to be a veterinarian, and after like recognizing how long it was going to take, I was like, nope. But then I'm not like, now reflecting on like, girl, you were scared of commitment. You were scared of commitment. Like, you want it fast and easy. I feel like I had a little revelation going on right here. I'm just like, as I'm hearing myself talking, I'm just like, were you just scared to commit this entire time? And this is why you didn't do that? Because it was going to take time, but either way, it was still going to take time. Anyways, this is like my inner dialogue. So now you're getting to like hear it out loud. So after realizing how long it was gonna take like to be like a veterinarian and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, like I want to like, you know, personally be working with the animals. And whenever like it comes to like veterinarian, like yes they work with animals, but like they're not like always like on contact with the animal. That's usually the assistants and the technicians. So I went on to like this college, and so I can be like an animal nurse because that's what technicians are. Some of them, because like you need a license. And I did that, and almost by I was already in my senior year, and the professors weren't posting the grades and stuff like that, which kind of upsets me because like I would have probably like be fixing stuff, but like again, I didn't know where I was at. And at the time, like I was in like in a relationships and stuff like that, and it was, let's say, not the healthiest for like someone that's like, you know, working on her career and working on her future. Like there was times where like I was getting my phone blowing up like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I had school that same morning, and that was like probably around like probably 5 or 6 in the morning. And it had like a lot of studying. Like that school was like fast paced. And if you're wondering, it's like called MedTech Institute. And it's like a government, like privately owned college. That shit, oh, like, nah, like, I'm actually kind of like, looking back, it's like, damn, like, I really, like, I was a tough cookie. I really was a freaking tough cookie. Because the amount of, like, studying that I would be doing, and the, like, the, not like the sleepless nights, but, like, the dedication to, like, put in all that energy, all of, like, that information into my head. Even whenever like my brain was like just blocking it off because like it was way too much, like it was a lot of information, and you'll get like randomly like quizzed, and you just have to be prepared. So then let me see, being in senior year, like I was already doing surgery, and I was already working with like farm animals, and then also like that one class where it's like so that way you can get like license, like it's like a practice. Well, I was doing that, and then is a day before finals, I end up finding out what my grades are. And if you were in that program, if you're failing more than 3 classes, you get kicked out. I didn't want to get kicked out. So I went back and literally told admissions, like, I am dropping. I am dropping. I'm not gonna like have this money like, you know, invested and then be lost all because, you know, I was failing. My biggest mistake was like not going back right after. And the deal was like, because my parents were like already investing their money towards the college and the apartment that I was like staying at, because I was like having a roommate. But I was like so burnt out. I was like so fed up. Like I was fed up with like the roommate, and I was fed up with school. I was just like, I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm burnt out. Like I truly just don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm done. And that's when COVID like starts. And it's literally on the year when like COVID starts. I think this was like either 2020 or 2021. And that's when COVID starts. And I'm just like, I could have had it on easy mode, because I could have been taking tests like through the laptop rather than being like physically there. So that stuff happened. And at the same time, like I ended up like really like after like leaving and dropping that school, I went through like an entire spiral. I spiraled. I went back living back with my parents, and I was shaming myself. Like I felt like a complete shithead. I feel like I like, you know, I did this entire journey like for what? Like I fucking felt like I was completely being mean to myself. Like, but at the same time, it's kind of like the way that you were raised, and that's how it is. Like you just get shamed, you get guilt tripped, like you get bullied on, and that's literally what was happening. But now I was doing it to myself. I was beating myself up because like I'm like, I fucking failed. All this freaking money, all of this investment, all the sleepless nights, all because like I couldn't be smart enough, or because I couldn't pick up the information just as quickly as anybody else, or because like my lack of focus. Part of it, yes, it had to do like an influence with like the relationship that I was with, and the other part had a lot to do with like, what's it called, me having a strong sense of self, because I felt like I was losing myself like within this title. Like I felt so entitled, like my ego was like boosted and stuff like that. But when the actual real stuff like really came into play, like it all collapsed, like it all just shattered. And so the moment that like I didn't get that title or that recognition by like me dropping and stuff like that, I felt like my entire sense of self like was just shattered. And not only that, like I got a lot of like verbal backlash, and it really fucked with my self-esteem. Like I really was just bawling my eyes out for like 3 months straight. I was trying to apply to like other clinics and stuff like that so that way I can get like at least my experience working with animals. Nobody was hiring me. Nobody. And that was the thing that was pissing me off. Like, how can this person that has no experience like get hired, but I don't get hired? What the fuck is going on? And this was just like to like either be like a kennel technician or just or an assistant. And that doesn't require you with a degree. Like you can literally just be trained. But I wasn't even getting hired for that stuff, and I was just getting so infuriated. I was just like, what is going on? So like that added on more to like my spiral, and like, you know, me beating myself up. It completely like destroyed the shit out of me, to be honest. Like in a whole different freaking level. Aside from the fact that I was like already dealing with like a insecure, toxic, like masculine in my life, because that's really what they were, like, to be honest. And you know, to no fault to their own, they had their own stuff, their own woundings. But at the same time, it's kind of like, if you truly don't know what you fucking want, and I know like this sounds like counterintuitive because it's like same shit with me with my career, but this had a lot to do with the relationship. If you don't know what you really want, like why do you keep wasting my time, or why do you keep coming back around? And that's where boundaries play a role. Like that's where like having a strong sense of self-worth plays a role. Like I didn't have a strong sense of self, so I kept entertaining it. I kept letting it in. I kept letting this person like be in my life and deteriorate me in some shape or form. Especially when it comes to like my sense of self and my ego and whatever. Aside from the fact that like, you know, school didn't pan out the way that it should have. Well, after that, I ended up like working at 2 restaurants. I'm not gonna name the restaurants because like I still feel shame about it. Like I know it's just a job, but I just don't want to even bring it up because I'm just like, I don't want to be like identified. Oh, she ended up working at these restaurants. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like a restaurant and it's a beginner job. I went back to my beginner job because that's where I started off. And I told them like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Are you willing to take me in? And they're like, yeah, of course. Duh. I was one of the great workers. They took me in, and then I ended up like getting another job too. So I was working 2 jobs. Like once I started like working after like those 3 months of like, you know, wallowing and spiraling and basically just being mean to myself, like I just started working. Like I started to get in motion. And let's see. I think it's done. Now I just need the Q-tip so that way I can clean it up. Yeah. I start making that money, and I start paying, you know, my father back, because I just felt this sense of guilt. Like I felt like I was like indebted. Like that's how I felt. Like, and I was feeling like fucking shit. And I'm not sure if like this is like having to do like a culture thing, but like for me personally, like it just felt like I owe them. Like I literally felt like all that sacrifice of money, like, and I didn't even finish. So like I started paying back, and then it got to the point where like they said like that I was forgiven. So I was just like, okay, so like, do you still want to get paid or do you not want to get paid? They're like, no, you're good. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I started to focus on like, you know, getting my own vehicle, getting my bag, making sure that I'm good. Because at the time I didn't have a car. I was like only 18, and maybe probably like 19 at that point. I think I was still like 18. And I was working there for like a few more months, and then I was able to get myself like a job to work as like an assistant at a vaccine clinic. And I was like, oh, bet I can finally get my experience, because like truly that's what I wanted to do. The moment I get into it, I'm like, okay, cool, I got this. And then try to remember, I worked there for like probably like 6 months, And I shit you not, like I was like submitting applications like around my city to work as like a veterinary assistant, like at a full clinic like service, like vet office. And the difference with like a vaccine clinic, they just only do vaccines and prevention. So like prevention is just like heartworm prevention, like so for worms like inside the heart, and then fleas for both dogs and cats, and just the normal like yearly like vaccines. And for a full service clinic, like they do dental cleanings, they do surgeries, they do vaccines plus prevention, and they do like testing in case like the animal's like sick. So like that means like blood work, urinalysis, ear swabs, like all that fun stuff. Like they get to do all that stuff, and that's what I wanted to do. So I get a call, and it was like from literally like from another city, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like I never submitted an application. How did y'all like get my information? Well, there was like one that was in the drafts, and I get called, and this was like for Banfield, and I was just like, what? Like, I guess like this is a sign. Like, ain't no fucking way. Cause I've been like around my city, nobody was hiring me. I was so pissed. I was just like, for such an immense like city, like, why is like nobody fucking hiring me? Like, this is just like a beginner late like level, like, you know, entry level like job. Like, you know, like I was just getting frustrated. I was getting pissed. And so then after that, I was like, fuck yeah, like let me do my interview. And at that time already working at the vaccine clinic, I finally like got myself my car. And then after getting my car, I was just like, you know what? Like I was still a beginner when it came to driving during that time. Like just to give you that backstory, I was still a freaking beginner when it came to like driving. Good days. Cause like I was like not the safest driver to begin with. But I was like, if nobody's gonna teach me, I might as well just do it myself. Like that's really my mentality. Like if nobody's going to like have the time or patience for me, like I'm just gonna do it myself. Like that's how I operate, and that's how I operated back then. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Cause like if I leave it up to your hands, like I'm gonna be waiting forever, and I'm not with it. Like time is going, and my life is like, you know, like there's a future to be made. So I end up going like to Waco. So I go to Waco, do my interview, 4 hours away. Okay. I'm in Houston. And the suburban, like, well, not suburban areas, but like in the outskirts of Houston. So like in Pasadena. So like that is like a 4 hour drive. No experience in the freeway. Like barely any experience like in just normal like streets. And I just take the drive. Like I'm not gonna lie, I did go behind my parents' back on this one. I didn't want them knowing. I didn't want the opportunity to like be stripped out of my hands. Like I was like, you know what, this is for me, this is for my future. Like I can't let anybody be involved in this, because at the end of the day, like it's my future, and I'm not gonna let anybody like put their negative energy or like their projections or their outputs on there. Like yes, like people can care about you, but at the same time, it's kind of like it gets to the point where it's like when there's like a big ambition or a big goal, I'm not gonna involve you in it. I'm really not, because your limitations are going to limit me into pursuing what I want to do. So that's what I literally did. I was just like, you know what? F it. Like I literally went behind their backs, told them like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like working, la di da da. Go behind their backs, do the interview, make it to like Waco like around probably like 12 p.m. And the manager was completely cool with it. She was cool with it. You know, she was like, oh yeah, like, are you gonna be moving anytime soon? And at the time, like, yes, I had someone over there, you know, like living over there. So I was just like, yeah, like, you know, housing is already set. Like, it's just securing the job. And I end up getting the job. And then she tells me, like, well, when do you want to start? And this was like during November. And this was like probably like 2 weeks or maybe like a week before like Thanksgiving. So I was like, oh, like I can do this like, you know, afterwards or like before Thanksgiving. But personally, I think I did it before Thanksgiving because I didn't want to see my family. So I was just like, you know what, time to like dip and go. And I actually go. I end up actually moving. I end up moving 4 hours away from my family, and I just remember my dad is asking me like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to move? Are you sure you want to do the job? And I just remember like, yes, I do. I completely want to do this because I was already done. Like I was done living in this household, and I'm already like done, like, you know, waiting around for, you know, an opportunity to be presented here. Like there is nothing. So I do that, get the job. After getting the job, I'm there like for like probably like a year and a half. And you know, things did happen between me and that relationship. That's like a whole different story. And it got to the point where it's like, you know what? I can't be with this individual any longer. Like, it's not healthy. It's messing with me up. Like, it gets to the point where, like, you know, your presence as a person feels like it's just there. That's literally how I felt. Like, I was like around this person and I just felt like I was just there. Like, I didn't matter. Like, I didn't have any value. I didn't have any meaning. I was just existing because their attention and their intentions or whatever, like, were onto other people. And that's how I felt. I was just like, what am I doing here? Like, there's no fucking point. But I'm also like not gonna lose the job that I like literally like went after for this person. So I was like, you know what? Like, it got to a point where like I had a conversation with my father. Yeah. And he was like, girl, move out. Like, get your own space. And I'm just like, what? And so literally got to the point where I literally got my own space. But the correlation to the entire story is like my lack of impatience and dedication. Okay, like this entire story that I'm telling you right now is my dedication of like, you know, pushing through and having like breakthrough, but instead I took the easy route. And then the other part that I'm going to be pointing out is the way that I was rushing. Me rushing into these things, into these situations without like the practical like foundation and stability was what created this momentum like moment to happen in my life. So I rushed to get my apartment. I rushed to get my black car, the car that I drive. I rushed. I went into the Facebook marketplace. I was like, I'm desperate to get a car. I did not care. I didn't really like even pay much attention to it. Of like, you know, like the damages or things that needed to be fixed. That affected me in the long end. Because I was constantly fixing this car. Constantly investing my money in this car. Just to fix it. When it was just a $3,000 car that should have just been like, you know, perfectly fine to just drive. No. And with the clinic, you know, what I should have done is like gone back, gone to school, finished that career, and ended up like being in a secure, safe job where it's like longevity, where, you know, I can like enhance my skills, build up to it, and have like, you know, like credibility. But I didn't do that. I went for a veterinary assistant, so I debunked myself into like a lower position and rushed myself to a clinic. I'm teaching you all of this stuff about myself so that way you don't do this to yourself. I debunked myself. So I did that to myself. I debunked myself. And accepting like a lower title, knowing that, well, I am capable of a bigger title, but I didn't want to challenge myself. I didn't want to go through like, you know, the whole entire like threshold. So I debunked myself. And then, again, me like, you know, I wouldn't say like rushing, but I would say like probably like rushing into like moving in. So I rushed in, moved into like, you know, X's like place. That's what I did. And the same momentum happened again. Me rushing into getting my own place. So this entire like correlation of me like rushing, me debunking myself like has added on and compiled. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to like your patterns and your habits and the way that you were raised. The fact that I allowed this behavior to dictate my life and influence my life has really been, you know, a big entire lesson. It has taught me so much about myself into like the importance of like, do not rush into things because you might just be settling for something less than. And that's what I did. I settled for something less than because I by now would have been licensed. I would have done, you know, more things probably would have been already in specialty, maybe went back again to college, but I didn't do that. But I think like at the same time, like things happen for a reason, and there was like a specific lesson for me to like recognize it within my own self, like to not debunk myself and lower my standards, and to actually pick something that I'm actually passionate about and willing to do in the long run. So that's where like this entire thing like, you know, goes into like a full like circle, because even whenever I finally ended up moving like from that place, again, that same rushed energy happened. I was in a complete rush. I was figuring things out. At the time, I didn't even have a job when I moved from like that place. I lasted in that place like for 4 years. That was my safe space. That was my home. That apartment was my entire home. That place was the first place that allowed me to cry my entire soul, to finally just be without having to like, you know, mask or pretend like that things are fine. Like that was my place. That was my safe heaven. that was a place where I finally got to build a relationship with my own self, get to know myself, know my triggers, know where like the voices and the opinions were coming from that were not even mine to carry. Like these were coming from other people. And sometimes it had to do with family. And so to get to this like far like length, it's like, this is crazy how much like I've grown as a person. But it's like I had to go like through these entire things so that way I can come back to myself and see the mirror for what it is. Like, this is who you've been this entire time, sweetheart. And that's literally what I had to do. Like, I had to go through shit. Like, I went through shit. I may look like I'm fine, but I have not been fine for quite some time. I'll be honest. And some of the like the lessons that I had to go through is like, you know, survival, being broke, having to figure things out, being resourceful, being fast, you know, because whenever things are going left, like you got to figure things out before everything crumbles, because it's you. Like, you're going to be the one that gets impacted. You cannot be waiting for things to like work out at the last minute. So that's what literally was happening for me. And also like being quick at like picking up on people's intentions. Like, some people do not mean well. Some people are just people that want to be there in your life out of convenience, or because like you're pretty, or they see something that's going on in your life. So like they're going to want to latch on. So in continuation to that, I'm trying to remember since I got interrupted. The ongoing lesson here is like, do not rush into things, because rushing into things are going to make you want to pick something that is probably not even in alignment with who you are as a person, or even for the long run. And this showed up in my life like in so many different shapes and forms. Like, this could have like, you know, having friendships like because like they're in close perimeters, but like they probably don't even have the same values or the same goals or the same ambitions as you. So like that was a drag. And then same thing happened with my relationships. Like, you know, oh, like this person's like the first thing like that wants me, but really having that discernment of like knowing like, does this person actually truly align with who I am, with my future and who I am as a person? Do they truly want me at my core, or do they want me for the things that I provide, or do they want me for like the potential? And these were like things that I literally had to dig deep within my own self. And yes, like it is not the easiest thing when you have to look deep into the mirror and be like, oh, I've been the perpetrator. Like, I was actually the person that I was like, you know, accusing others of. And it was me this entire time. So like, yeah, when I say like I am not a perfect individual, like I mean that shit. I have not been a perfect individual. Like, I have been the person that has hurt others because my lack of self-awareness, or my lack of accountability, or my lack of communication, or my lack of like, you know, being transparent. Like that literally like played itself out like a domino effect, like in an immense way, and it blew up in my face. It blew up in my face, and it was excruciating the way that I had to like, you know, heal myself from that, have been healing from this, and having to like bounce back from that. And it wasn't failure, but it was also at the same time like to show me the bigger awareness of like, you have to really make sure that you are doing the inner work within your own self, and don't take it lightly. Like, this is like something like that literally can be like life altering, where it's like your life can come into the line if you keep ignoring this stuff. Like, do not ignore the inner work, because you are not your mom, you are not your dad, you are not, you know, your community, you are not anybody else but yourself. Like, you have to take at some point in your life accountability for who you are as a person, and know that, you know, with your actions are going to be consequences. And my consequence was literally like me losing my best shit fucking mind, losing relationships, losing friendships, losing the place. I didn't technically lose my place, like someone else like ended up like booking it, but because of my lack of indecision, like I ended up like passing past like the threshold of like, you know, being able to like re-get my apartment back again. And when I'm referring to like losing my apartment, it's just like I paid it on time, each and every time, just letting you know. But it had a lot to do with like the fact that at the time, like I was doing a waitressing job, I didn't have any evidence to like, you know, like show income. And again, like you know how they ask you for the 60-day notice? And here I'm like over explaining myself, but like I just want to like bring in that clarity, like, you know, like the 60-day notice, like I already gave my 60-day notice that I was gonna move out. And then things hit the fan, and then I was just like, oh, I actually want to get my apartment back. And they're like, no, actually someone already got it. And I was just like, shit. And so like that happened. So that's when like, you know, everything just like I needed to act fast. So this is the lesson. This is my story. This is like a summary of my stuff, like without being overbearing or like too much, because it's like, I don't want to like bring any other people involved in my stories, especially when it comes to like my life story, my experiences, because at the end of the day, like I'm going based on my own experience, my own lessons. And I already learned enough to be like, don't entangle anybody into your stuff. And that's really like the lesson that I've been learning. And just being self accountable and reflecting and seeing like how things like correlate to each other, like because everything is interconnected. It's like a web of like a web, like it's literally a web, like everything interconnects, like by one small little habit and behavior, like it connects into everything and it becomes like an entire like 360 of an entire circle. Like it all comes into full circle in some shape or form. Like, and I think at some point like down the line I'm going to be showing like, you know, like with the boards that I got, how it interconnects so that way it can make better sense. But this is just like a little summary of like my life, my experience, the lessons that I've learned, and the importance of like not rushing into things, and also learning how to value and appreciate the things that you have right then and there in front of your face, because it's not going to happen again the way it was before. And that is with being intentional, being present in the present moment, not comparing things or being in the past, and not being overly focused on the future. Okay, so with that being said, thank you for like listening to me and hearing my story. This is like my second video, but this is gonna be my first like long video. And here is to like building that confidence and showing people who I am, even if it feels like hella uncomfortable having to speak about it, because I'm my worst own critic and I expect perfection right then and there, and I know perfection does not happen. It's implementation and discipline that really makes things happen. So there's that. So I'm taking my own advice on this one. But again, this is like my first long form video and I hope this helps out. And if you have any feedback or any opinions, let me know. I'm open to hearing you out. If you have a story, again, I'm open to hearing you out. Or if you have any questions about like, you know, this specific video, like if you have any confusions or questions, again. But again, I'm not perfect. I am learning. I was not to like, you know, like not have any self accountability, but this is just my journey. So there's that. This is like the stuff that people don't even see like behind like on other stuff like on my platforms. Like they don't see this. Okay? Like this is me like showing y'all who I am. Even if it comes like imperfect, but yeah.